All right, guys. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Come on, that was weak. Are we ready?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys. So today we obviously have a very interesting event. Not your conventional type of influencer event. This is more like intimate. Everyone get to know each other. That's why we did the icebreakers. And honestly, it's a place for us to learn and grow and connect. I really want this to be an opportunity for you guys to learn from big creators like the Ramen Guy and Kateryna Fylypchuk. And basically the way this is going to work, I have some questions sorted out. I'm going to ask them. And at the end, we'll do a Q&A where you guys can ask questions. It's recorded, so if you ask questions, you get camera time. So that's the little trade-off there. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our wonderful panelists, the Ramen Guy and Kateryna Fylypchuk. Come on, guys. Bring the energy. Amazing. How are you guys feeling?
Good.
I'm very nervous.
We appreciate honesty here. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys for being here, and really let's just dive right into it. So, I want to start with the Ramen Guy because we actually have a funny story. We met in a coffee shop, believe it or not, super randomly. And we were just sitting there. I was there with my cousin, Ali. Ali's over there in the glasses. And Ali's like, guys, that's Ramen Guy. I'm like, what are you talking about? What's Ramen Guy? I never heard of that. He's like, he makes videos eating noodles, and he like slurps it really hard. Like, and, he's entertaining. He's got a personality. I'm like, okay. Well, and that was funny because the day before, I just got a job working at an influencer agency. So I'm like, wow, this must be fate. And I know Ramen Guy's a man of fate. So I was like, you know what? I got to go up and talk to him. And ever since then, we've built a really strong relationship. And we actually do work together now, officially. So give it up for Ramen Guy. I'm gonna expose his government name maybe later on, but yeah, Clement. There you go. So Clement, why did you get into ramen? Like, what out of all things to get into?
Yeah.
Like, why ramen?
Well, for me, I've always wanted to be a content creator, and I love noodles. So I wanted to pick something that I'm really passionate about, because I didn't know if I'd do well as a content creator. So I might as well do something I really like while doing content. So. Yeah.
For sure, and you do have an interesting background. You come from the corporate world, correct?
Yeah, I'm a software developer.
Yeah, so I'm curious how that spark kind of came to be. Was it from the frustration of being in corporate, or were you always into kind of that artistic headspace?
Good question. What motivated me was I just love watching other food creators on YouTube, like Mark Wiens, Sunnyside, best food review show ever, Mikey Chen, Strictly Dumplings. So I kind of wanted to be like them, and so that's what kind of inspired me. But I do take a lot of inspiration from being a software developer to do my content, and vice versa. So I do believe there's like skills that can be transferred between the two.
And then what are those skills? What is there a framework in software that you apply to like content creation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like in software, Facebook does this a lot, or Meta. Like you want to like release things really quickly and break things and get feedback from your users. So at least my style of producing content, and that's why I started on TikTok, is you can make a really short video and you can release it really quickly, and then you get feedback from people who watch it. So yeah, I try to push things out as fast as possible.
Wonderful. Yeah, I really like that. It's kind of like an iterative approach. You have the drafts, and it's kind of the same with coding. Those
Yes.
steps. Wonderful. And Kateryna, you're not a software developer.
No.
No. So what sparked you to get into the content creation space? How did that come about?
So it was the pandemic, right? I feel like it's the story of many people, but it's like there's nothing to do, you're stuck at home. I was back in New Brunswick, like at my parents' house, middle of the woods, and I just graduated university. It was like literally nothing to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this TikTok thing. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, great. And so it kind of worked out, and now I make the TikToks.
Okay, and what are those TikToks like? What's your specialty? Because the one thing I've noticed in your content is the Russian mom. Привет, хорошо.
Yeah, so
I know a little bit.
Yeah, so that started, obviously me being at home inspired by, a little bit inspired by my Russian mom. She doesn't like when I say my TikToks are about her. So my Russian mom is a composite character of, the Eastern European Slavic mom. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so there's a lot of like personal experiences that have inspired that.
Yeah, for sure.
And are there other accents you're working on? Are there other types of contents that you want to dive into? Or are you kind of sticking in this, I don't want to say just Russian mom, but this comedy sketch? Like, I'm just curious where you're thinking for the future.
I mean, I do like all sorts of content. I like my content to be relatable. So it's like, it's not necessarily like I'm interested in, just, making fun of things or something. It's like if things are relatable to like my personal life, then I like make fun of like that situation and like make like light of it. But I'm not really interested in, just like making like jokes like all around. So like I kind of like stick it to my niche. But I do like all sorts of like comedy, like a lot of stuff about, like I guess growing up, like adulting, because I'm like a Gen Z now that's becoming older. Like living on my own, living in Toronto. Like recently.
She's Gen Z, Clement. Do you feel old?
Yeah, I'm like like a boomer.
But I just meant like, like getting into adult life, living on your own. Like recently I made a video about living in a condo, stuff like that.
Do you want to say something?
No.
Okay. I was feeling your energy. I felt like you wanted to jump in there. But no, that's amazing. It's wonderful. And this next question is more for both of you, but we can start with Clement, government name. So Clement and Kateryna, you obviously had this seed and this inspiration of artistic being, and I'm just curious how you were able to grow to such a following. I mean, you got 3 million on TikTok. Same with you. Wait, 1 million?
1 million.
Yeah, sorry, it's not 3.
One day.
but I mean, that's besides the point, because obviously you guys have a very engaging fan base. It's not always about the following. But I'm curious how you guys are able to reach this sort of pedestal.
I actually don't know. I think for me, I just want to do what I like to do. Like, I just do something I enjoy, and the goal was never to grow it really big for me. I mean, sort of it is the goal, but not the primary goal. I think I just wanted to. I think for me, it was like I'm a software developer, and I just wanted to do something fun outside of work, something that I would enjoy. So. I guess if it's advice, do something you enjoy doing, and maybe it'll take off.
It's really nice.
I think like for me, like it's been like a lot of consistency, right? It's like you post all the time and the work just like pays off. Like videos, there's videos that don't do well, there's videos that do very well, and it's all about just, keep going at it. Like you get periods where it's like not good, like you feel like all your videos are not doing good, and then you get periods where like everything's doing so well, and then that's how you grow. It's just like not giving up.
So how do you manage those periods where you're not doing well? And how do you define not doing well? Is that the views? Is that the number of comments? Like what does that look like, not doing well?
For me, I think it's a little bit of both. Like sometimes when you have no inspiration, you're like, what am I supposed to be making right now? Like sometimes I wake up and, I have a whole day to film and I just don't even know what to do. And then you're like, oh, like I have no idea how to get out of this. And then that, but also sometimes views, you're putting out the content you care so much about, you're like, I'm so excited about this, and then like no one, like, I mean, it doesn't get the same views you wanted it to get, and then that kind of also brings you down. You're like, you know what, like this is not very good, but you just have to just like keep like pushing through that and ignoring everything else. Trust the process.
Yeah.
I usually just like complain to my wife Tabitha. I'm like, nothing's working. and just vent. That's what I do.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have the comfort system. And I'm just curious, like, you know, because obviously we have a very diverse audience here. Everyone's in their own kind of creative space. And we, you know, some of us make films, some of us act, some of us draw, I don't know what else. Ben, you make videos on technology. So for us, I'm curious, like, how we would start when we're not necessarily, you know, we're not necessarily in your position, right? Like, we're not really creating content, and how would we go about starting that? Like, is it simply as getting your phone, and like, how would that work for us? I mean, we're all in artistic fields, but how would we translate that to social media?
Good question. I study a lot of Mr. Beast, and he says make 100 videos and don't care about views, and then just learn one thing new, like learn one thing from every video you make, and then you learn 100 things, and then on your 101st video, then care about the views.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that, and I think it goes back to the last thing we were talking about. Like, I feel people give up really easily, and they get discouraged by, you know, lack of comments or lack of views.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just comes down to persistence. And
I think so, yeah.
And what about adapting? How do you know when to adapt? Because you know, is it always that 100 mark? Maybe you're at 50 and you're like, oh, it's doing the same thing over again. It's not getting anywhere.
That's a good question. I just like I like to read the comments and see what people are saying. So like sometimes I just do what users tell me to do. Like there's this one ramen recipe that a user suggested to me. Just put mushroom soup in ramen, and that blew up.
Amazing.
And
now you make ramen videos with shawarma. You mix some
that
shawarma
happened.
and the ramen.
That happened.
Yeah.
With Shelby's Canada, a shawarma
Amazing.
chain. Yeah,
Great.
I think the other thing is I get other creators to like give me feedback on my videos. So like there's a guy in LA. He does like food videos. He like looked at all my videos and he's like, okay, this is why this one hit. This is why this one didn't. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that. Like, so maybe get other people's perspectives on your videos as you keep on progressing.
For sure. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah, and I also think that like a lot of it for me is like following the inspiration. Like, you know, you get inspired, you get this crazy idea, and you have to do it right away. You just have to like jump on it and do it, and then from there, like, because you're in that space, you might get more ideas. But one thing you can do is if you get like an idea about something you want to do, and you just like let it sit too long, because like it just becomes bad, like it dissipates. You can't let it like marinate. Like, you get the idea, you have to act on it, and that's how you like get in the flow and find like the things you actually enjoy doing. But if it's like, oh, I want to do this, and then you like put it off, like you'll just never get to it. Like,
Solid. And just the last couple questions before we go to the audience here. So you do some other stuff on the side. You're managing accounts. What is that?
Yes, I'm a social media manager. I manage like 3 different brand accounts, and I basically create content for them. You know, do like all the social media part, because I love doing social media. That's what I love doing. And so there's other people who don't like doing social media. They have a business, but they don't want to do the social media part. So I tell them I can do it for them.
Very cool. And what are your future plans, Clement?
My future plans. Try to get to 1 million on YouTube.
Yeah, let's go.
Make that YouTube money. Like the Triplets. Aspire to be like you.
Awesome. Cool. So guys, I really appreciate the patience here. I know some of you are very eager to ask some questions. So let's give a round of applause before we get to the Q&A for Ramen Guy, Kateryna. Okay, who would like to be the first questionnaire? Questionee. Moose.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering where you guys like get your most like inspired ideas from. So I want to preface it by saying like when I'm trying to like think of jokes to do on stage, like my best ideas come when I'm showering. So like, is there like a space you guys like to like put yourselves in?
Great question.
Yeah, it reminds
Shower
me
works,
of shower.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe sometimes I go on a long walk and then I get inspired. I think there's a part of our brains that activates when you don't think. Like shower thoughts, like same with you, like washing the dishes or going on a walk, changing environments. Again, I study Mr. Beast a lot, so apparently he tries to get lucid dreams. I've never tried that though, but he tries to put himself in a state where he can have a lucid dream and then he'll like jot down the ideas that came from it.
Yeah.
For me, sometimes I'm like, okay, think of ideas, and then I'm just like sitting there and like trying to think of stuff, and usually that like doesn't work, and then I'll be doing nothing, just randomly doing like nothing, and then an idea comes to me, or like right before bed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and so many ideas come like all at the same time, and then I don't write them down, and then I forget them. But yeah, it's just like they come randomly. I don't know.
I think some of my best ideas come from just talking to other creators or other people and just jamming. Yeah.
It's powerful. Yo, come on, Moose. It is. Tommy.
Yeah.
It is powerful.
Sorry, I'm not actually a creator. I know Arya because we studied together. But I remember when I ran for school president in high school in front of like 800 people, I became super nervous and I couldn't speak at all. You guys have an audience, you said 3 million? That's crazy, right? That reach is incredible. So my question to both of you is, like, how does it impact you as like, do you think about the depth of your impact on people, knowing that you have reached 3 million subscribers, like how does that affect your content and whatnot? Because I couldn't do it with 800 people, so how does it work with 3 million?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually get really nervous even in this space, but when it's in the digital world, I don't see anyone. So it's kind of like just numbers for me, but I think one thing for me is I don't really know how it grew so big, and so I do see the platform as a blessing to me. And so like one of the goals that I want to do with this platform is to use it to bless others. And one of the ways I'm trying to do that is just to like celebrate local Toronto businesses and restaurants. So like I'm trying to shift my content more towards that and just use it for, I guess, to help others. I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the same way. It's like you don't really feel the scope of it. It's like, like you don't feel like there's so many people like watching you all the time. It's only like when someone like recognizes you or something that you're like, oh my god, like people might actually like know who I am. That's crazy.
Well, then just follow to my question, what about the comment section? Because like when I hear like podcasters like Joe Rogan or whatnot, when they talk about how the comments actually affect their whole mood, even when there's because people can be very toxic online. There's no backlash, so they read these comments and then they're like, oh fuck, I'm terrible. So and I know that many of them just completely chose never to read comments. So do you guys do that, or how do they comment?
You reply to every comment.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Try to boost engagement.
It's good. It's smart. And you care.
Yeah, I get a lot of hate too, actually.
Yeah?
In my comment section.
Who hates on ramen?
I get like, I say some like, it's not controversial, but sometimes I say the wrong things. Like, certain foods come from like, I don't even know where they come from.
Country
like,
B, but it's
country B and country A.
Yeah, everyone wants to claim. Like,
I did.
They created.
One time I did thank Matty Matheson for bringing birria tacos to Toronto, and that was like not the right thing to say. So I did have to make an apology video for that one by going to another taco restaurant that's more local.
Well, there's always an opportunity, right?
But like people make fun of my appearance and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like, for me, I just try to picture like 11-year-old child is the one writing those comments. It's like some 11-year-old child at their keyboard, and then their mom's like shouting at them saying dinner's ready. So that's how I try to cope.
Well, that's what it is mentally. That's how they think.
I personally love hate comments because it's like I just see it, and I have like really great followers, as in they always fight for me, and so like I just wait and see, and then I'm like, oh, and like here, there you go. That's where your bad comment gets you. So I love hate comments. If you want to comment any hate, like go ahead.
You're born for this then.
Definitely. Mark, introduce yourself first, because you're a big deal here.
My name's Mark. I'm 1/3 of the Manchurek Triplets. We do triplet pranks. We dress the exact same head to toe when we go out and trip people out. And we have quite the following, but the other two aren't here right now, so you just stare at me. But
they look the exact same.
they look, yes, it doesn't matter. I look exactly like them, so just continue staring at me. But anyways, for both of you, do you see yourself exploring any other avenues besides content creating? Whether it's like a podcast, or would you want to do your own web series or TV, or even explore a different niche in content? If so, what would it be?
Sure, I mean, I want to do everything. I feel like there's so much to do in life. No, but it's really true. Like, I started out as a theater kid, so like I definitely want to do more acting, more stuff like that. I thought about starting a podcast and YouTube channel. Like, I have to get into that. But yeah, there's just so much to do, so little time. Definitely want to do a lot more.
Yeah, I think like I have like a couple dreams. One is to sell my own product.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then the other is to like, maybe it's like everyone's dream is just to travel and eat. So like I have a whole series where, I don't know, like I get invited to a country to just eat the food there.
Right. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
You need Bourdain style.
Yeah.
Bourdain, Mark Wiens.
Mark Wiens, my hero.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Unreal. Do you have any other questions? Caitlin?
So when did you guys decide that the transition, I know you were a software engineer, and so when did you decide that this is the transition that you're gonna make? Like did you ever drop, I'm sure, did you drop that career as a whole, and then you're like, this is my career now? When was that transition? I'm sure there was a time where you did half, right?
Yeah. Do you want to answer? Or?
Well, I didn't really have a transition. I graduated university, stuck home,
Yeah.
so it was like TikTok.
Because I'm also a software engineer.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, obviously with Asian parents, it's like, how do you do that transition? And like, when do you know is the right time? And like, you know what I mean?
I think I'll always love doing software, so I think I'll continue to do that.
Are you still in like the midst of doing it? Is
No,
that still half of?
I've given like content full time a go. So I have like an internal deadline for myself of February 2024 to try to.
You're not going back. You're not going.
So
We'll
I'm
see.
like just exploring it. So I think for me, it's like I just need to make enough money, and then that's when I'll know.
Oh, so right now you're still working as a software engineer and then also creating content?
I'm not working as a software engineer, and I'm not making enough money. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it.
Got it.
Clement is a very driven, ambitious individual. He has very high standards, and you know, I think either path you go, I think you'll be very successful. And I'm saying that since we've got to know each other personally. So whatever happens, man, I think you'll do great regardless.
Yeah.
And Kateryna, you as well, very, very ambitious. From the moments that we've talked, got to know each other. Actually, the last event that we had, I emailed her like 3-4 weeks in advance. We were co-hosting together, and she literally messages me the day of. She's like, "Oh, can I still come?" I'm like, "What happened, right?" So apparently the mail went to her like agent's inbox, right, which you have access to.
Yeah.
And you weren't able to see the email until the day of, right?
Because to be honest, I expected them to like forward it to me,
Right.
like if it was, something I'd be interested in.
They thought I was spam, That's what happened. But yeah, I do want to ask one question though before we wrap it up. So speaking of kind of agents, do you find it's necessary to have an agent for you to either collaborate with other creators, to get brand deals, to do any other kind of work? Do you think it's necessary to have an agent, or do you think it's something that you can do yourself?
I think it's definitely something you can do yourself, but it depends on the kind of person you are. If you're the person who like wants to reach out to brands, like you have the time, the like what's it called? I don't know, like the confidence to do it, I guess, the ability to do it, then you can. If you're like a person who's really good at networking, like you can do it yourself better, then you don't really need another person to do it. But it all depends, like I feel like, on your skills and what you're comfortable with. Like if it's something you're not comfortable with doing, then someone else taking that over for you is definitely like a great thing. But if it's something you feel like you can do, and you can do like a better job just doing it for yourself, then I guess you don't need an agent.
We're a part of the same agency. So.
Hey, I mean, say what you want. I'm not the boss.
I'm still like
junior manager.
I'm still exploring. So, I think we were talking about this. No one's going to care more about your business than yourself. Mm-hmm. So I think I still grind. Like I still reach out to brands myself. But like I think the advantage of an agent is that they are doing that full time, so they should be able to get you more brand deals overall. And yeah, so I think yes to both, maybe for me.
Yeah. I think it's important to be proactive and work in correspondence rather than just relying on one person.
Mm-hmm.
You're a manager, Reza, so I know we'll talk after. Reza manages a YouTuber by the name of Don Vo. He's a Forex trader. He's pretty popular. He actually does more streaming. But yeah, I just thought I'd point that out. You're in my line of vision.
Thank you. Thank you for the shout out.
Yeah, of course. Okay, guys. This is the last question. Anyone? Rika? Rika.
Chris wants.
No, Rika, go.
Chris already went.
So you said that you manage like other brands and do content for other brands. Do you have any like advice or techniques for managing other brands? Because I would assume it's very different than putting out your own personal content.
Yeah, I think the thing with managing a brand, like you kind of have to look at it in the context of their competitors and like all the other people in their niche and see what you can do to like make them stand out, make them better. So there's a lot more I guess research that goes into like researching what everyone else is doing and like how the brand fits in within like the scope of like all the other brands within that niche and stuff like that. And obviously you have the client and it's like their brand. So you can, sometimes like you want to do things your way, but you have to be conscious of the fact that it's like not your business. And sometimes, you think you have a great idea and like if it was your brand, you would do it exactly this way. But then your client is like, oh, actually we're not doing this at all. So you have to just be like, okay, what do they want? What would they be happy with? What are their goals? Like perhaps for you it would be like getting a lot of views, but maybe for them it's about, making sales, and that's like more important than just like getting a viral video in. So it's like you have to be conscious of what their interests are.
Was it quick?
No.
I'll give you the platform.
Okay, I was gonna say, just for both of you, if like, where do you guys kind of want to be like 1 year from now? Like, do you have any goals that you have like set that you want to achieve?
Okay, I want to like wake up every morning and like not procrastinate at all. Just like wake up, get my work started, and just like work without, scrolling through TikTok or something like that. And I've been trying to get there. Like I'm doing so much work and still I managed to procrastinate the day away. So it's like I just need to get myself like on a really good like tight schedule and get everything done on time. Go to the gym. Like have a very organized day. I'm not an organized person and I'm still trying to get there.
Yeah, for me, I guess my hope is I can make enough money to be a content creator full time, and so I still really want to grow on YouTube and have that AdSense money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like I think grow to a point, do long form. I think that's one thing I'm trying to learn how to do is make long form content as well.
Okay.
Great. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate the honesty, like the transparency, and I think that kind of personal rhetoric will be very engaging for the audience and something they can take away for themselves and their goals and their inspiration, also for myself as well. And I do want to thank our videographers, Marcus and Aiden. We'll give them a round of applause. So we work a lot together on different projects. I have my video production page, A Squared Projects. A lot of this content will be shared on that page, and that wouldn't be possible without these gentlemen. They obviously have their businesses as well. Introspective Films, Grossman Group, and yeah, guys, I think we started a bit late today, so I will put an extra hour to the event so you guys can mingle and properly connect, have food, have drinks, and thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you.